All right. Yoann, thank you so much for joining us. Just a quick introduction for our viewers and our readers. I'm Sam, and this is Ben. We're from our generation, which is a QPR community for younger fans, and we told them that we were going to be speaking to the Yoann Barbet, and we got a very good response. We had nearly 2,000 people clawing over. Really excited to hear what you have to say. So let's just crack on. Yoann, looking back now, we just finished pre-season. As a whole, how do you feel that went?
Well, from my point of view, I think it went really well, and I'm sure you guys think the same. I was just saying to Paul, I think we set the standard high, even in pre-season with the two, especially the two big games against Man U and Leicester, where I think we've been really, really good. I know it's just friendly games, and especially Manchester, they didn't put their strongest team, but they still have good players who used to play in the Premier League. And Leicester was even better because they put almost their strongest 11 to prepare the community shield on Saturday. So yeah, being able to go toe to toe with them for 90 minutes was really good. So yeah, I think we're ready for Saturday now, and we are looking forward to it.
And that Leicester game, am I right in thinking that was your son's first ever game that he'd attended? How was that, scoring in front of the home crowd and in front of your son?
Yes, it was an amazing feeling. He was supposed to be there against Man U, but he was a bit ill, so he stayed at home. So being able to be there, I was looking for this day for so long. Last year we had no fans, so I had to wait. But it could have been couldn't have been better. Scoring in front of the fans, in front of my son. He saw the goal as well. Probably was the only 2 minutes where he was watching. So that was really, really good.
And we've seen the manager speak on sort of other podcasts and interviews about how pre-season ultimately is about players setting targets, having targets set for them and meeting those targets. I know we've spoken, there's 2 good performances. On a personal level, what targets did you set yourself for pre-season, and how do you feel like you've met them?
To be fair, to be the fittest as possible, because I had a break and I wasn't as fit as I should when I came back. So it was just to close the gap as quickly as possible and just play as much minutes as I could. And I couldn't play on Tuesday before Leicester because I was ill. So I just wanted to make sure I was going to have a good game against Leicester to then get ready for the new season and be ready to be available for the starting 11. So I think I'm ready. I feel fit. I feel strong, and hopefully I can have another long run of games this season.
Yeah, and in terms of that injury, sorry, Sam, I'll let you jump in a moment. But in terms of that injury, we've seen in the media players like Rashford who have been played deliberately through an injury. And obviously, I think you've spoken before about making the choice to play the final few games of the season despite carrying that shoulder break. Yeah. I'm really interested in what dialogue you have with the club staff about that. How do you come to the decision? What's the advice that you're being given by the medical staff? And how do you decide on balance? No, I want to play those games. I want to push through.
Yeah, so to be fair, so I broke my shoulder against Swansea in the first half. Then I finished the game. I didn't know the shoulder was broken, and we had a scan just to make sure everything was okay. And that's how we found out that I broke the scapula. And I just found out after the Swansea game that I was the only players left to be able to play every single minute. So straight away, I just went to see the physio. I just went to see the doctor. I said, well, listen, guys, we have 3 games to go. I'll speak to the manager to make sure I can play as well, but just give me everything you can as long as it's healthy and I can use them. Give me some strong painkillers, whatever. But I want to be able to reach that. It's just a personal point of view that if I can't do it and I'm weak linked to the team, then I'll step away. But I really want to do that. So we had a discussion with the manager, with the staff, and I saw a specialist as well. And he said, like, if we had 15 games left, then he would stop me for a month. But he said it's just down to you. So I just made the decision to try and do it. And I'm glad the manager and the staff let me do it. And we worked so hard for the last 3 games to make sure I was able to run properly. And it was good during the game. It was so after the games, but I made it, and I'm really, really glad.
Well,
awesome.
Pre-season was also an opportunity to have the first time since for ages that we've had fans back in the grounds. Of course, we had a couple of trial games throughout the COVID year, but did the players really appreciate having that support in person once again?
Yeah, of course. I was so happy when I went to the stadium. I was smiling all the way until I arrived to the stadium. Like it was my first professional game, basically. It was a really, really nice feeling. And it just gives you more confidence and more pressure, but in a good way. Like it's easy to switch off during the game when there's no fans. It's really easy. And now you with the fans, even if I don't know, you get the ball and you don't look behind you, and all the fans gonna scream because someone's coming to you. So it's just some details, something different. But yeah, you always switch, and then obviously you want to do well in front of the fans even more. So yeah, we couldn't wait, and it's been too long, and hopefully now it won't happen again.
And in terms of talking about pressure there, obviously we've the squad has built on their performances as Mark Warburton has been around. He's going into his third season. The board has made what has been viewed as a statement of intent, I think, by sort of putting the money on the table for players like Stefan Johansson. Do you as a player feel like there's more pressure on this season than your previous two for QPR?
No, not at all. We just confident in what we do. Obviously, there is a lot of expectation because since January last year, we finished third in the league from January. So everyone thinking, well, now they expect us to be promoted or to finish really high. That's expectation. That's outside. It doesn't matter what people think outside. If they think we're gonna go down, well, that's good to us. If they think we're gonna go up, then that's good to us as well. We just focus on ourselves. We're gonna take game per game. We're gonna set some target every few games to see where we can go, and then we see through the season. But I hope we're gonna have a better first half of the season because we had a really poor one. And if we want to do something this season, we can accept to have this one. So yeah, no, we don't put any pressure on ourselves. We're just confident in what we do, and we know we have to work hard to get results, and we cannot be complacent.
Are there any sort of internal discussions about what are the overall big targets for the season? Does the word promotion get mentioned, or is it literally just take it one game at a time or a few games at a time?
We just want to finish higher than last year. That's our first aim, and I think it would be good if we can finish higher. And we know there's no many places between where we finished and between the playoffs. So yeah, obviously we want to finish as high as possible. We signed a few players. All the players who were on loan signed there as well. So we all know each other. We don't have 10, 12 players like we had 3 years ago when you just rebuild a team and it takes time. Now we all know each other. We're ready. We know how we want to play. The new signing, they already know how we want to play. So yeah, we've got a really strong squad. So we see how it's gonna end at the end of the season. But we're just gonna take game per game. There's no need to put any pressure on us for no reason.
So in terms of the squads, of course we saw them play, and I thought we looked sensational. But as a squad morale overall, is there a really good energy? Is there a good unity about the squad off the pitch as well as on?
The unity is fantastic. To be honest, we have such a great group of lads. Everyone is on the same page. Everyone's happy. We're all laughing between each other. It doesn't matter if the old boys with the youngsters, all the mix. It's a really, really good mix. So we look forward for this season.
In that being a squad with a mix of younger and older players, I'm really interested in knowing who are the leaders in the dressing room, and do you consider yourself to be one of those leaders?
Well, it's easy to say the leaders are the most, like the oldest, who's also played the most games. So yeah, the leaders you can have like Charlie Austin, Stefan Johansson, Angst is one of the leaders as well. Yeah, I can consider myself as a leader, but yeah, I'll say more Chaz and Steph because they've got Premier League experience as well, and the way they talk, the way they know the games. Yeah, they're more the leaders. But like Rob is a leader, Dumball is a leader. There's a lot of leaders in the team, so we have such a really good team this year.
Looking at the sort of day-to-day life of a footballer at the moment, I guess, obviously we've spoken to players before and we've seen them speak elsewhere about how different things were when football first restarted during lockdown. Would you say everything for you as a player is back to normal now, or are there still differences in how your day-to-day life goes compared to before COVID?
Yeah, I would say it's back to normal. To be fair, I won't say I really enjoyed the after COVID without fans and with all the restrictions, but that's where I've been the fittest, because you cannot go to a restaurant, you cannot go out and stuff, and I was really focused on just myself, not being selfish, but just be healthy as possible, and that's how I ended up playing 46 games. Now you're back to normal. You always have the temptation to go, tonight should we go to a restaurant? And you just have to be strong. If you know what you want on the pitch, then you know what you have to do off the pitch. So it's back to normal, but I haven't changed my routine from when the lockdown was over or when everything was shut down. So I try to maintain, like, if no restaurant are open in a week, etc., and I try to enjoy myself just after the games.
I've always been quite interested as to do with Mark Warburton, in that I find he interviews brilliantly, he speaks very concisely, he is very intelligent, clearly. What's he sort of like as a coach on the training ground? Do the squads look up to him in a more tactical, professional way, or is there a nice sort of friendly relationship between the players as well as that manager-player relationship?
Yeah, it's a bit of both, to be fair. It's really easy to go and talk to him. We can talk about anything. His door's always open. We can laugh about everything. But then when we're on the pitch as well, we just focus. It's more the encouraging side, the mentality side. That's where he's really, really good at, from where he used to work before football, and he's got that, and that's why John Eustace, the assistant, is doing more the tactic stuff, etc. So it's a really good mix in this these two plus Neil as well.
And talking about tactics, I think a lot of fans have observed that playing in a back three seems to suit you as a player really well. Would you it suits you better the back four?
Yeah, maybe it does, because I like to have the ball. I like to play football. I like to carry the ball and go high up in the pitch. And when you just fall at the back, it's really hard to do it. Or if you do it but you lose the ball, there's only one centre back left, so you can put your team in a bigger trouble than if you're free at the back. I know I still have two players behind me to cover me if I lose the ball, so it allows me to take maybe more risk as well. But when the risk pay off, then we're more dangerous high up the pitch. So yeah, I would say the three at the back suits me the way I'm playing.
And do you think,
obviously when teams play forward, sorry Sam, you go.
Well, I was just going to ask, in terms of the back three, it seems you've developed quite a good understanding with Rob and Geordie, as well as Connor Marston stepping into the squad, and of course Jimmy Dunn as well now. Do you think there's a nice defender alliance sort of that's building between the centre backs?
Yes. No, we have a really good relationship between together, and in training we're always talking about details. Should I go up? If I go up, do you cover? If he covers, do we check now? Like, at the moment, we're all about details. And I think details is going to be the key this season if we want to finish higher than last year. So we all have a good relationship. Even with Jimmy, he sets up really well in the team, and Connor's been there as well, even if he hasn't played as many games as us. But we have a really healthy competition, and that's really good for the squad.
And sort of building on that, the question that I was just going to ask, people obviously talk about centre-back partnerships and look at teams like Liverpool last season, for instance, where a lot of changes in the centre-back partnership can cause a lot of unrest. When you're talking tactics with the other defenders on the training ground, do those discussions sort of work no matter who is actually playing? Or is it, Connor's playing instead of Geordie, or someone's playing instead of Rob Dickey? Do you have to change your mindset then? Or is it just, okay, we're doing the same thing, whoever is playing?
No, we all try to do the same thing to make sure if Jimmy replaces Geordie, we making sure he does exactly what Geordie used to do, or what's the right thing to do on the pitch. Doesn't matter if it's Geordie, if it's Connor, if it's Rob. We just try to make sure we learn all five defenders, the free position, to make sure it doesn't change. If someone jump in, he's going to be as good as no one change. So that's why I'm talking about details. that's kind of details we try to work on.
Okay, and sort of a different question now. If you keep playing a similar number of games to what you played last season, I believe you'll get to a point this season where you've played the most games for QPR that you have for any team in your career so far. I was wondering, in a few words, how do you characterize your time at QPR so far, and do you see it as a home for you in the future?
Yeah, well, if I would say, I think I had a tough start when I came over. I was coming from Brentford and didn't have the best start of the season. So obviously, I was getting hammered by Brentford fans because I left to QPR, and I was getting hammered by QPR fans because they wanted me to go back to Brentford. So it was a tough first 3-4 months. But then he's been a bit better, and then I got injured. But since I've been back from injury, I think he's been well. And last season was a really good season. So yeah, I feel great in the team. Gaffer trusts me. I've played every game last season. I want to play as many games as I can. So if I can play 46 games this season, that would be brilliant again. And why not change if I'm good at the team and the team perform well? Yeah, I'll be more than happy to be there. Of course, there's no question about that.
And now you've got a chant about how you left Brentford and came to Rangers. So I suppose that's worked out as well. In terms of when you joined, if I'm wrong, but am I right in thinking you didn't play on Mark Warburton and didn't?
That's right.
To France to ask you to sign. So what relationship did you have with him beforehand, or had he just heard about you from colleagues and
basically so on? I left Brentford and I didn't know where I was going. So I went back to France, and after a week, the physio from Brentford texted me and said, I have one manager who asked me your number, should I give it to him? So I said, yeah, go on. And then so the gaffer rang me and he said, well, I'm taking over QPR and I want to sign you. And that was the first 2 weeks. I was like, oh, I can't go anywhere, but I can't go to QPR. Like I used to learn and hate QPR for 4 years because it was that was the fact. That's where we used to be at Brentford. Like, it's the big derby. We have to win. We have to hate them. So I was about to sign to some club I'm supposed to hate, basically. And I was saying to my family, I can't do that. I can't go. But the gaffer keep ringing me every day, Yoann, I want you. But then I just paused the phone and I was just thinking about, well, what's the best for my career? I know the fans are important, but they're not on the pitch. They're not playing instead of me. So I have to think about myself. What's the best opportunity for me? And yeah, the gaffer said, if I need to come to France to see you and convince you, then let me know, I'll come. And I said, well, go on, come and see me. So he came and see me. We chat a few hours at the airport, and that was it. And then I said, okay, let's do it. And I think I made the right choice.
Is that quite an unusual approach from a manager to show that much determination to sign you? Did you appreciate that?
Oh yeah, I did. Of course, I was like, I say to my agent, well, the manager wants to come in France to see me. He said, well, Yoann, I've seen so many players, so many contracts. I've never seen a manager traveling to a country to convince a player. So he said, I think he really wants you. I said, well, I hope so, but it looks like he wants. So yeah, then as soon as he came, in my head, it was done. I knew I was going there.
Well, let's look forward to Millwall then, because that's only a couple of days away now. Do you think the squad is in a good place to start this championship season as we are now?
Yes, of course. I think we've done a good job in pre-season, but sometimes you can win 10 games in pre-season and then you're going to lose the first 3. It doesn't mean anything. What we have to do and just go out and play like we did against Man U and Millwall, and don't be scared. We'll try this pass or this pass. I know now we play for 3 points, but we just have to have the same mindset. And if we have to take risks, we take risks. That's the way we play football. We start from the back, we take risks, and once it pays off. That's where we hurt teams. So we're gonna have the same mindset like against Man U and Leicester, and then we see how it goes. Obviously, it's the first game back, and we want to give the 3 points to the fans to start well the season before to travel twice away. So yeah, we'll see. But we're confident, but not overconfident.
And sort of a more general question, this I suppose, and I think one that's definitely linked to the fact that we sort of website for younger fans, both writers and readers. I was wondering who inspired you as a young player, and which one current defender would you advise young players and fans to really keep an eye on?
Well, so when I was young, Zidane was the main one because I used to be striker number 10 until I was 13. And when I joined Bordeaux, the first year, it was to play as a number 10. And during the season, I went to left wing, and then I dropped to central midfielders and then centre back. So I was a bit scared because after centre back, there's only goalkeeper and then there's nothing left. So I had to stop there. But yeah, and then I'll say I think Thiago Silva and Sergio Ramos were the ones I was really looking after, and I'm still looking at them. I think at their age, what they do is amazing, and yeah, I think the mix between them two, there's no one better, I would say. So yeah, they were the two I was looking after to try and get better and look like them, basically, even if they're right.
Sorry. In terms of those early days at Bordeaux and when you were younger, can you remember any sort of key moments where you went, oh, I am going to make it as a professional footballer now. I know that I'm going to make it because I've passed a certain point. This has happened. Are there any key moments that stand out to you?
I didn't really. I knew I was always in a good shape to do it because I was always, so when I was 13, I was playing with the under 15. So I was always with one generation older than me, and sometimes twice, or obviously I knew around me, if you do that, if you play with players who've got 2-3 years older than you, you're doing the things right and you're going to get there, but it doesn't mean you're going to do it. And this is what happened. I was playing with the B team. I played PreSeason with the B team, basically it was, and I ended up not signing a contract, so I had no clubs basically, and I got lucky. I had a call from Niort in second division to go and see me, but I went on trial, and I've played two friendly games, and they wanted to see me again, so I went on away for the preseason for 1 week, and then I came back, and I just played 45 minutes on the friendly game, and I had a really good one, and that's how they offered me a 2 years contract as a number 3 or number 4. But I said, I don't mind, I can be a number 10 centre back, that's fine, as long as I sign my first professional contract, then I'll do the job. And speaking to the manager during the season, he said, before the last 45 minutes you played, I didn't want to sign you. And he said, but you've been brilliant for 45 minutes. So that's what I signed. So basically, I've played my career in 45 minutes. That's how it went. And I started on the bench, and after 3 games, someone was injured. I played, and I've played 33 games out of 38 on my first season, and that's how I moved to Brentford. So I can say I got a bit lucky. If I didn't have a good first half, then I don't know where I would be at the moment.
And is there anything?
Sorry, Stan.
Go on, Ben.
I was just going to say, in terms of coming from playing in France and then living back there in between your time at Brentford and QPR, do you have any aspirations to play in France sort of later in your career again?
Yeah, why not? Why not? I've never played in France in first division, so yeah, that's something I would be happy to do. But at the moment, I'm so happy here, and we have a really good season ahead. So I just wanna do my best this season and try to get the club as high as possible, and then we see how it goes.
And going back to just like your earlier career and how you were as a person, is there anything you wish someone had told you mentality-wise, something that would have helped you, mentally to, aim higher and stay content? We have a lot of younger listeners, so I'm sure they'd appreciate some words of wisdom.
Yeah, that's a really good question. That come with experience, but it was more my life outside football. I was doing well, but it was more, if I would say, what I was eating before the games, before training, after training. It took me a long time to understand that the food was really, really a key in a football career. And now I know, it's been a few years, I know, but I wish I would have taken it more seriously as soon as I arrived in in England, I wasn't bad. There's a lot of people worse than me for sure, but I know I could have done a lot more better. And yeah, in this aspect, yeah, I would have loved to have someone to, even if you have people to help you, maybe I didn't do enough to understand like it was really important. But yeah, I would have loved to have someone really kick in my, if I can say, to make sure I understand how important it is.
Do you think there's a lack of that nowadays? I'm not talking about QPR specifically, but in terms of how so many younger players now have this high profile before they've even made it into first team football. Do you think the mentality needs to change in general?
I'm not sure. I think if you're clever, not clever enough, but I think it depends who you have around you. I think that's the main thing to succeed or to achieve, just to be professional footballer. I'm glad I had really good people around me, my family, my friends. They always understood when they were all going out and I was going to bed because I had to train the day after, and I never had someone to push me like, oh, come on, we don't care about the training tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. We were all in the same, I don't know, same bubble. They knew what I wanted to do. And I think that's the key. If you wanna succeed, you need to pick the good people around you to make sure they push you high and instead of push you down.
Awesome. Okay, Sam, I don't know if you've got any more questions, but I think that's just about all the ones that I had.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a really lovely way to, I think, end this. So I think we'll just say, Yoann, thank you so much for your time and good luck for the season. We are all going to be right behind you, supporting the team every step of the way.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for the interview. I really enjoyed it, and all the best. And I hope I'll see you soon at the stadium.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys.